But then Abby had a really aha moment, and this is what I call Abby's swan song again. You've done a really nice Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbing situation. Now we're almost got Chat GPT in the cabin. Hey guys, and welcome back to another installment of Sales Moguls. I'm your co-host David, and I'm joined by
Abby.
Abby. Great to have you back, mate. It's been some time. We've been on a brief hiatus at the moment. Abby, tell us, where have you been? I heard you've been doing some charity work. You've been volunteering.
I've been doing some sailing around the Arctic Circle when chasing the Northern Lights. I saw that was stunning, so
Mm,
I couldn't pop over to Oslo, even though it was really, really quite close to you. It was great. I've had some time to introspect, get my life's priorities straight. Back in the
mm,
game now.
mm. No, that's fantastic. Myself, I've been volunteering at a local sales hospital, where injured salespeople need to learn a little bit more about outbound and a little bit more about best practices when it comes to follow-ups and understanding how to talk and communicate on the phone. So it's something I've been volunteering with. It's something I've been a passion about. And salespeople without diplomas is a big cause.
Yeah,
So we're back, guys. It's been I think 4 or 5 months or something like that.
potential a quarter. Let's just be businesslike and say a quarter.
It's been a quarter. We've missed our OKRs. We're starting some new OKRs.
Yeah.
And as you've read in the title, today's episode is going to be amazing. I'm excited. I'm buzzing. I've done at least 10 kilometers around Oslo this morning. That's how excited I've been. We're going to be talking about one of the most cutting edge technologies in the sales world, or the world technology in general, but we're going to say in the sales world, Chat GPT. You're probably thinking, my work colleague won't shut the hell up about this. Well, we're going to go talk about today, and we're going to show you how it can improve your sales. And it can improve it in a number of ways. So whether you're streamlining, I'm going to use a lot of buzzwords, engaging with customers more effectively, simply want to stay ahead of the curve, or simply, you want to have someone to start everything off from scratch and not have to brainstorm for 2 hours and get started. ChatGPT has got your back. So over the course of this episode, we're going to be diving deep into this world. We're going to be exploring everything you need to know. We're going to be talking to some experts in the field, i.e. my co-host Abby.
Me and you.
We're going to be
Yep.
sharing some best, yeah, we're going to be sharing some best practices, tips for success. And the best thing about this episode is we're going to show you some real world examples. So what I mean by that is we're going to show you exactly how to do a step-by-step sales process, from start to finish. Whether if it's a qualified yes or a qualified no, Chat GPT is going to get that for you. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started in the industry, we think that this episode's for you.
Let's get stuck in. Let's actually go in. So to give you an overview, and as just as a cautionary sort of note, we have no affiliation with ChatGPT. This is not a sponsor. They have approached us, but we have politely, of course, declined that we are not going to take sponsorships at this stage of our podcast. And this is not sponsored by ChatGPT, of course. There are many AI tools out there, but we're discussing ChatGPT because it's kind of like the pioneer of AI, especially language models, and we've both got good experience in using it for our jobs. So what say you, David? Let's start getting into a live demo kind of scenario. I'm gonna share my screen and put ChatGPT up on. For those of you who haven't, and I find it very hard to imagine a person who's in tech and hasn't been subject to this, this is what the ChatGPT dark mode layout looks like. And we're going to use this platform to compose better emails, right? Now, when it comes to what's the skeleton of making or getting ChatGPT to give you the best output? And we were thinking about this earlier. David and I were having a conversation, and we said, essentially, there are three large blocks, three large aspects where you want to get really good at. Block or aspect number one would be, what's the initial statement that you make? What's the initial prompt that you give ChatGPT? That's building block number one. You want to get really good at that. We're going to dive into that in a moment. Second is the feedback loop. How do you communicate back to Chat GPT after it gives you an output in its first go? And one of the beauties of Chat GPT is, as a language model, it's unique that it remembers its first response, and you can actually correct its its initial response, and ask it to get better over time. That's what makes this tool so unique. So second, being feedback loop. The third and the final piece you want to get really good at is just final tweaks. Small things where you want to ask it to change a few things grammatically, increase character length, decrease character length, or copy length, etc. And of course, finalizing your output. These are the 4 sort of keys, and this is individually. You want to, as a listener, if you're using ChatGPT, you want to get better individually at each one of these. Let's talk about the first one, which is an outreach email. So I've got the screen here. I've got ChatGPT. I'm going to select, of course, in this option, I can select either ChatGPT 3.5 default, legacy, and ChatGPT 4. I have seen on.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So strangely, I've actually, I don't know if you've seen this, but online I've seen people actually reporting that the legacy GPT, in some use cases, gives you a better response than GPT-4. I don't know if you've seen that. And another nuance to note, if you look at the sentence that I've just highlighted here, is that GPT-4 actually has a limit or a cap, an upper cap of 25 messages every 3 hours. So you can't really go crazy with GPT-4 as you can with GPT 3.5 or legacy, as they call it. Basically, we want to ask ChatGPT-4 to compose a really powerful outreach message or an outreach email. First thing you want to do that I've learned in my experiences is when I say it, I mean ChatGPT. Feel free to give it a name if you wanna give it more of a human touch, but I'm gonna call it it. If you want to ask it to give you a powerful prompt, you want to ask it to emulate someone. Right. So for example, I was coming up with a business idea last week, and I said, okay, think like Steve Jobs. That was the first thing that I said right at the outset. So what is the first thing you want to say to ChatGPT in terms of like how you want it to structure its thoughts before it composes the email?
Cool. So yeah, so we put together this very simple way of talking to the ChatGPT. So we went with the Sandler methodology, which is a challenger type of sales methodology where you're asking questions, you're diagnosing, maybe not as more subservient, you qualify more, I would say is the best description. And you qualify hard, because we're all about qualified meetings and qualified yeses and qualified nos. We're not a ghosting kind of sales strategy here. No ghosting where we're from, and Casper doesn't exist. We are from a company that specializes in quick commerce. So this is what we do. This is what we offer people. So we're trying to be a bit specific, but we're keeping it quite open. As you can see there, we're keeping it high level. We're letting ChatGPT think. Okay, we're not trying to be too specific in what we do. We're not getting that feature battle. Then we want them to compose an outreach email to multinational professional service companies. And we want to structure them with the following email. Maybe we could say enterprise, multinational. And then we do a question. As always, email, you open with a question. You got to provoke thought. Social proof. So outlining, who do we work with? We work with companies who do this, this, and this. This is what they want. This is what they want to achieve. So we kind of outline who we're with. Outline 3 pain points. So our customers usually face 1, 2, and 3. Ask if the prospect faces any of this. Is this interesting? Is it? No? Yes? Should we move on? And then the last is a strong call to action. Let's see what she comes up with.
All right, let's give it a go. Let's hit roll. So we put some feedback in. We've got an initial email, but we want to try and make the output better. And we've given it a few feedback points to try and tweak the email. First, we like the subject line, but we think it's too long. So we've said, try and make the subject line shorter, try and make it catchy. Then it sent an email. It sent a first question, asked a question like an opener. And we like the opener, but we need it to be a bit more direct. It's a bit long-winded here. which is generally the theme of this email, which we're trying to correct. Then it asks, then it lists out a few companies. This is not what we had in mind. We want it to describe customer persona. And so we've given ChatGPT an example of the types of companies we work with, and we've asked it to outline the customer persona using this type of email. And then it gives us 3 points. I think David and I both agree these are good points. These are valid. We just want to make them shorter again, which is kind of the overall theme here. I've asked it to overall reduce the shorten the word count by 40%, which also ties in with our feedback earlier. And I've also put in a gentle reminder to use the Sandler methodology that we spoke about earlier, which we don't really see in full effect here. Let's give this a go and let's see what it comes up with. It should improve the email, in my opinion. Let's see.
I think it listened. It took in what we said. I think we're getting somewhere. That's my thoughts. My initial thoughts is we're getting somewhere.
Actually, my initial thought was the first email was better, but it was just longer. This email is just shorter, but doesn't have the impact. It's not as compelling, but then, you know, to each his own. I think the combination of the first and the email is like, could be a deadly output.
Yeah. So what we've done here is we've taken the 2 emails and we see that there could be a good middle ground here as a nice little initial email. So we're going to take the best elements of the first email, which is the compelling language, the explanation of the problems, and the language was rich and did a great job in painting a picture. Subject line was fabulous. That's someone's been watching their Sex and the City recently. And on the second email, we can see that there are good elements of keeping it short and sweet. The kiss, as we say, keep it simple, stupid. Very direct. Call to action was powerful. It was full of power, as we say down under. And the word count was good and to the limit and concise. So combine the best elements. Let's see what we come up with.
All right, let's go.
I think, Abby, what you've done here, you've done a really nice Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbing situation. Now, we've almost got Chat GPT in the cabin. Okay, that, you know, breadcrumbing into the cabin. We just need, I think, one more feedback loop, and we could have something. What do you think?
Yeah. Why don't we? Do you want to talk about the things that you like? I think I'm surprised that it changed the subject. Firstly, so I'm pretty positively surprised because it's quite short and it talks about. It's something that if I was an HR manager or someone in this company, I might actually open this email. So that's great. You want to talk about the other aspects?
Yeah, it's exciting. This is it's a good subject line. I mean, I normally do our meeting, which generally gets an open, but that's an open because they think we have a meeting. So this is an open in like, I want to unlock my employees' potential. You know, it's a good description of what we do. I think you can always it's always could be improvement, but I think it's a lot better than what I've ever seen from a lot of salespeople. And then obviously talking about this is what we've discovered in our partnerships. I love that. These are things that we discovered. 1, 2, 3. So I think maybe we could change some of the wording. Insufficient food delivery, there's probably a better way to say that. Limited food options, subpar benefits. I think that's a powerful statement.
It's powerful. Right? Yeah.
I like it. Do these challenges resonate with your company? I love that. I love that. I think a couple of things we could tweak. So let's without further ado, let's go through it. But other than that, I think this is a great ending just from 3 feedback loops. You know, and that's the thing about Chat GPT. This is something that a learning session is. People think Chat GPT is going to give you the answer straight away. You tell me whenever you do an assignment, do you get the answer right straight away, or do you have to do a feedback loop? You have to go back and refine and refine. And that's the thing about Chat GPT is people don't realize it's like a human. You have to refine everything. It takes time. So I'm really excited to see what can happen now. And let's put our prompts into it and see what we can do.
Okay, so we're nearly there, and we want to give ChatGPT some final feedback what's hopefully final feedback. It doesn't necessarily have to be. We hope this can be the clincher. And we want to give it 2 points. One is we want to try and
Mm.
ask it to make the opening question more compelling, more powerful, make it super thought-provoking, and also ask it to use data points, something that we hopefully can pick up from the internet or pick up from his past knowledge that can be compelling and lead people to, and people just generally like reading numbers. Second thing you want to
Mm.
ask it to do is the first pain point. We thought that inefficient food delivery was perhaps maybe not there, especially not that relevant to the kind of product we're trying to sell here. So
Mm.
we've asked it to rename that to something along the lines of saving thousands of hours or having complete control over your expenses. Let's give this one a go and see where this takes us.
Moguls, we're almost there. We were excited before, we're even more excited now. We recognize the question probably could be adapted a bit. So we made it to be a bit more direct and less generic, but also something that gives you, something you have to think about and also answer. So we decided to copy the question down and then showcase this is what we want the answers for. Let's scroll down a bit, Abby. So we want you to scroll down, yeah. So directed short question that requires the prospect to look inward and think about and answer themselves, be specific and limit it to one question. Let's see what we can do.
I'm going to give one final go, and I'm just going to say, make the opening question, because for me it's too mainstream, different and outside the box. And let's see.
So we started with think about it in this methodology, had some questions, had some points, which was about questions, who we work with, 3 pain points, prospects, and a strong call to action. Now, some learnings from the start is we probably shouldn't have put at point 2 social proof, because that probably distracted GPT and it went about talking about social proofing. So that's some feedback for us as people who are using Chat GPT. But everything else is a slow burn. So we keep going through. So now we found a very generic email. Then we asked it to be shorter. We found a shortened email.
Then it
Then we
got
thought,
too
okay, we
short.
need some.
Yeah.
They got too short. We need something in between. Then we said, okay, we need it direct, short and sweet, but we also want you to take the language from the longer email. Then we scrolled down. The third iteration, which was something that we were happy about, but there's still some little tweaks to come through. And then the main one was the question. That was the big one. The more thought-provoking question, just keeping it simple. Then we tried again with my solution. Again, that didn't really come up with much. And then we tried again to be as direct as possible. But then Abby had a really aha moment. And this is what I call Abby's swan song again. He said, think outside the box. And I love it. Make the question different. What if you could transform? Oh, that gives me chills. What if
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
transform? I
It
mean, I
really
like the
makes them
movie
think inward.
Transformers, and I like that we're referencing that as well. So
And it
this is
makes
really
so much
amazing.
sense.
Mm,
In
mm,
transforming the
mm,
day-to-day experience. It's so powerful.
mm, mm,
It's super
mm,
powerful, and it's super like it's a what if. I love a what if question.
I think, and this is one of those brick and mortar moments where you get down in the slop and you really understanding how to create this. So Abby, you're a bit of a queen of the slop, and you've really outdone yourself here.
it's it's
I think it's amazing. So if you're interested to learn more about what we created here, we'll send you across all of the templates that we came up with. For me, using this as our template, we're going to create our own sales outbound content to be utilized throughout the entire process. So I'm super excited. I'm all about keeping it lean. I want to keep it linear. And this really follows that rigid steps of step 1, this, step 2, that. And Abby, any comments to send them off with?
it's been fun. I think I had a lot of fun making this
Mm,
this episode is because we got to play with something. I think that's what we've always enjoyed at the Sales Moguls, and we'll keep continuing to give back. And as long as it
mm,
adds value to you guys who are listening and watching this from across the planet, let us know in the comment section and we'll keep giving you more.
Thank you so much. And we will talk to you soon, okay?
All right, see you soon. Peace.
Well, I hope you guys liked the video. We put in a lot of work, and thanks a lot, as always, for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We'd love the support. We love the acknowledgement. And if you want us to put up more videos or different tools that you think you might find useful or you can benefit from, send them over to us. Send us an email. Put your comments in the comment section, and let us know what we can do next and help us improve. Thanks again for watching, and see you again at Sales Moghuls.